Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. This morning we will be making French crepes for breakfast. They're a delicious little treat that we love to make in our house. I have my sweet little helper over here already cutting up some fresh fruits for us that we're going to decorate our crepes with later. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started on our batter. We do not need many ingredients for French crepes. And it's really not very complicated to make as well, but it's super good. So first thing what we're going to do is, on my stove, I'm going to show you guys, I have a pretty big frying pan. You want to have it nice and big. And I'm going to start preheating this on medium low. We're going to let this go. We're going to get this nice and hot. So here for our batter, what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 eggs into our mixer. And I like to crack it into a little glass dish. So then just in case if I have any eggshells in there, I can remove them easily. Okay, there's our eggs. Now we're going to add 1 cup of milk. I have almond milk. You can use almond milk. You can use regular milk, whatever you have at home. So we're going to add 1 cup of milk. And I will also post all my ingredients on my description below for you guys. There's 1 cup of milk. I'm going to start mixing this. Okay, now we will add a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm making I cut my recipe in half today, but I will post the whole the recipe for about 6 servings for you guys. And then you can decide if you want to cut it in half or not. Okay, I'm going to mix this up a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of butter, and this is unsalted butter. And I will melt my unsalted butter in the microwave. We will add this to our egg milk mixture. So now what we can add is 1 tablespoon of sugar, and we're going to start adding about 1 cup of flour. Okay, here's my butter, all nice and melted. You do not want this mixture too thick. I'm going to turn down the mixer a little bit. Add my flour to it. And we're going to mix this until the mixture is nice and smooth. I'm going to scrape down the sides so all my flour is nicely in my mixture. You can put the butter to the side. Don't need that anymore. Okay, how you can see right now, it's really, there's a lot of clumps in there. I'm going to continue mixing this until it's all nice and smooth. Okay, now I'm going to also add slowly my melted butter. Okay, there's all my butter. I'm gonna get rid of all my ingredients I do not need anymore, so we have a little bit room. Okay. So the mixture is starting to become nice and smooth. I'm going to scrape down my sides one more time. I see a couple more clumps in here. Okay. I'm going to give this a couple more seconds. Okay, while this is mixing, I'm going to get you guys a little bit closer. Okay, so our batter is nice and smooth. What I will do is I will transfer my batter into my measuring cup. It's easier for me to pour into my greased pan. Okay, there we go. So here I have my pan. I'm going to put a little bit coconut oil in there, and you can use butter. I like to use a little coconut oil. You can probably also use melted coconut oil in your batter. Instead the butter. Okay. You want to get it all nice and greased so your French crepe won't stick to the pan and it's easy to flip. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get our first crepe into our pan. So what I do, I like to hold my pan in my hand, pour about like a half cup in here, and then start swirling it around. You want to get it nice and thin. If you need a little bit more, you can just add a little bit more and then just swirl it around. Get a nice thin layer of batter into your pan, and then we're going to let this go. It does not cook very long, about 15 to 30 seconds. Now the flipping part sometimes gets a little tricky. Since they are super thin, what I found is easiest, I start to, if I see it starts to cook and there's no more raw batter in my pan, I start to scrape down the sides a little bit. And then I just peel it off and flip it this way. When I use a spatula, you wanna put a thin layer on your spatula, like a thin layer of butter on your spatula as well. Because the crepes, they can rip really easily. Okay, I'm gonna turn down my heat to medium. And we're gonna let this go. Okay, you see it's starting to lift off pretty easily. So what I'm going to do is now I'm gonna take a tiny little piece, and the edges are not too hot, and slowly start peel it off. See, it ripped a little bit, but that's okay. The first one usually doesn't turn out that great anyways, but this is pretty good. And then we're going to give it another 30 seconds and our first crepe is going to be ready. You do not want this too crispy either. You want to have a slight golden color, but not too crisp, because you want to make sure you can fold or roll your crepe like into like a little burrito. Okay, so this one is ready, and I will just flip it onto my glass dish. There we go. Going to remove this little piece. Okay. I will grease my pan a little bit again. And we will get our next crepe in here. Okay, we're going to let this go again until all my batter is cooked on the top and we have no more raw batter left. And again, I'm going to start scraping down the sides a little bit so it's easier for me to lift off the crepe from the pan. You can kind of double check too. It still needs a couple more seconds. Okay, I'm going to flip this one. There we go. This one was a little easier. Now there's not much sugar in the batter, so the batter is not really sweet. But since we're going to add some fresh fruit, a little bit powdered sugar on our crepes, that's going to give it some more sweet flavor. Or some sweetness to it. We're going to add the sweetness that way. I also have some chocolate yogurt that we're going to put in our crepes. Okay, let's check. Yeah, this one is done as well. Nice. Again, I'm going to remove this little piece. Take a little bit. I still have quite a bit of oil in my pan, so I'm not going to add too much. There we go. My mom makes the most delicious savory crepes with sauerkraut and mushrooms. I will definitely try to get that recipe from her. Maybe we can try it on our channel. They are so good. Okay, this one is almost there. And when you see it starts to roll up a little bit on the sides, that's also an indication that your crepe is ready to be flipped. There we go. They're looking really good. Okay guys, I'm going to finish up the rest of my crepes and then I will be back and we can decorate some of those crepes and I'll show you guys how they look like. Alright guys, so here are our finished crepes and I got about 8 crepes out of the batch that I made. And like I said, it was a half batch. I will post the recipe for a full batch. So here we have already one decorated crepe and you can get as creative as you like. You have some peanut butter on there, fresh strawberries, banana. You can also put some yogurt on here. I have some dark chocolate almond yogurt. And this is what I like to do. Just take a little bit and smear it nicely around. And you can put a couple of strawberries in there. You can put a couple of blueberries in here. And then I like to roll mine up. Just like that. You can sprinkle a little bit powdered sugar over it. And there you go. You can also just use just powdered sugar. You can just dust a little bit powdered sugar over the crepe, and then you can just also just fold it in like a little triangle. You can put Nutella in there, whatever on fruits you like. All right, I hope you really enjoy this recipe, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys.